Hi guys, so I am back with another unboxing, and I have this really large backlog of unboxings I need to get through, but I wanted to start with Junkei's latest Korean mini album, which is called My 20's, and he just released this a few weeks ago, and it's really, I think, really well done. And I'll show you the track list here on the back. So zooming in on this track list here, you'll notice that there are 5 tracks, which is similar to what he did on his first Korean mini album. And honestly, all these songs have just been on constant repeat for me since it's been released. I think all 5 songs really flow well together, and they're really good individually, but I think you need to hear the whole, all the songs all together to really get the most out of them, because he kind of went away from just writing really good songs that will catch the attention, that are more public friendly, and instead did sort of a more emotional, has a lot more emotional connection. And he said in interviews that he was inspired by reflecting back on his 20's. Now that he's in his 30's, and will need to fulfill his military enlistment. And I really appreciate how much thought Junkei put into this album. And he's one of those artists that's not afraid to make music that he enjoys, and that's not necessarily very public friendly. The title track, Moving Day, I think it's really great. The music video is a lot of fun too, but it's not as catchy as his previous title tracks were, which were Think About You, and then on his special album he released in January of 2017, No Shadows. So both of those are more attention grabbing compared to the Moving Day. Which I think is part of the reason why you don't really hear many people talking about this mini album, which is a shame. And there are a lot of features on and most of the songs here. So you have Somi featuring on the second track here, and then Park Jin-min features on the 4th track, and then Double K features on the last one there. And what was kind of interesting, I think he made an Instagram post about this, but he wanted kind of the songs to represent his thoughts when he was in his 10's, in his 20's, and then now in his 30's. And the features and the featuring artists in those tracks represent those ages, and which I thought was kind of cool. But enough about this discussion. I'll probably talk about the songs as we look through this, but we have this really nice box packaging here, which is always appreciated. And inside, so this was a magnet, it's held by a magnet, by the way, but you have this pull tag which says My 20's here. And you have 2 different components inside this box. Put that away. And first we have the disc, the CD, and then they also stored the photocards in here. And so there are 2 different CD plates you could get in this release. And I bought 2 different albums, but I ended up pulling the same CD plate. So I will be either buying a 3rd copy, or hopefully someone is willing to trade for this one for the other one. And you have these little pockets here where the photocards would go in. And so there are 3 different cards you get in this release, and I'll show them at the end. And then again you have the track list on the back, and the spine is plain. Now for the photo book, which has an empty room, and it says Junkei My 20's Korean mini album on the back. So some more pictures of the room, and here we have pictures of Junke with the Tracklist again. And I really love these pictures. They're nice and cuddly, and there's a bit of grandpa chic that's going to be shown in a few of the other concepts. But I think it really suits Junke a lot. So you have the first song here, which translates to Honestly, and it's a nice opening for this mini album. It's a bit more chill, like the rest of the album is very understated, but it's really, I think, soothing to listen to. And then some more grandpa chic outfits here. And this is the same outfit as that CD plate I had. And then the previous photo concept was what the other CD plate concept looks like. And I really like Junke in these glasses. He really pulls them off well. And now we have the second song, which was actually a pre-release track and featured Somi from IOI. And I think a few people listened to this. I noticed some comments, like on Reddit, and no one really commented about Junke's part. They were just kind of complaining that Somi didn't have very many lines in it, which I think is fair. But if you've seen the V Live show that he had before this album was released, Somi came on and they both sang the song together, and you could just see how excited Somi was to sing with one of her favorite artists that she said that she really admires, and they're really cute together. They had a very cute brotherly sisterly bond that was really adorable. And then we have the third track list, which is the title track, The Moving Day. And some more grandpa chic Minjun. And the fourth track, which I think is my favorite, and this features Park Jimin of 15 and, which it's kind of sad that she hasn't really been doing very much lately, but I'm really glad that Junke asked her to feature in his song, and her vocal tone I thought worked really well with Junke's. And then the last track here, which features Double K, and this one's probably the most like his previous title tracks that were a bit more attention-grabbing and upbeat. And for some reason this really reminds me of his Japanese song Lost Boy. I'm not totally sure why, but I always get that impression. And that one's also a favorite of mine. It's a really good way to end the album, though after that song plays I'm always just waiting for more, and I'm always kind of disappointed that the album's over because it was too short. And then that's the end. And now for Photocards. I mentioned that you get 3 different cards per album, and so you get these bigger postcard size cards with this printed on the back. So this is the first one I got, and then the other one in my other album. And then there are 2 possible lenticular cards you could get, and I ended up with duplicates. So this is the lenticular card I ended up pulling in both of my copies. And then the last card you get are some Polaroid style ones, and there are 5 possible cards for this. So far I just have 2. So this is the first one, and has the Polaroid style on the back with Junkei's signature. And then the other one I got. Alright, so that was it for this unboxing. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and do let me know if you've listened to this mini album and any thoughts you had regarding the songs or the packaging or whatnot. And I'll leave you with a few more thoughts I had regarding this release, and also just Minjun in particular. So I was really ecstatic that he had the opportunity to release this before the year ended. And despite all of the kind of hardships he went through and setbacks regarding his injury and his postponement of his military duty, I think he showed a lot of courage, putting himself out in the public again, in the public eye, and releasing music that is inherently his own. He, I think, is just one of those solo artists from K-pop groups who really has a unique voice, and he writes his own songs with so much sincerity, which is something I really admire. And him having this mini album be more emotional and personal in its storytelling rather than something more, you know, catchy and attention grabbing like a lot of K-pop is nowadays, and probably was forever really, is, I think, something very admirable. He's gone through a lot, not just with his injury and kind of criticism he's had this past year regarding that and postponing his military services, but he's had a lot of, I think, criticism of his music and him being a solo singer, which I think is very unfair. For example, recently, the whole incident where he was sick and was singing, I think, Snowflower, some OST song in Japan years ago. So the criticism regarding that and kind of giving him a very unfitting nickname, like Snow Goat or something like that. So that resurfaced, and he's just faced so much difficulty, I think, emerging as an artist, which I think he is. And I don't really understand a lot of the public sentiment concerning this and why he's not recognized for his great talent and amazing vocals and just great songwriting ability too. But despite kind of all those setbacks and hardships he's faced, he's able to just put out music that is his own. And he does have a lot of insecurities, so like I think most artists do whenever they want to present their own work to the public eye and scrutiny. So a few months ago, he, I think, posted on Twitter in the middle of the day, or it was the middle of the day for me, but it must have been really late at night in Korea. But in English, he would tweet kind of asking HOTUS what they wanted from him and would they be okay with him releasing something that's not public friendly. And then he would immediately delete those. And it was really, I think, heartbreaking kind of seeing those insecurities voiced on social media. And I think Junkei is probably the most sensitive when it comes to 2PM members. And that also, I think that sensitivity is also reflected in his music he writes. And it was very heartbreaking just seeing those tweets, and I never usually tweet to idols on social media, and I just kind of seeing those had me, I felt inclined to tweet back at him, encouraging things, because I think Junkei is a great artist whose music would be such a loss if he didn't put it out. And so it'll be interesting seeing what he does next, because it looks like on Instagram he's been posting some studio working and some spoilers regarding that. So it'd be cool if he did release something right before he enlists in the next few months. But if he also decides to release that while he's in the military, that would be cool too. Kind of like what Kim Jung did with his Number X or Knox album a few years ago. But I guess those were just some thoughts I had regarding this release and Jung-K. So feel free if you have any thoughts regarding Jung-K as an artist too, down below or whatnot. I'll be very interested in hearing your guys' opinions. But I'll end this video here and go listen to this album if you haven't already. It's really, I think, a standout release from this year that I think has really been under the radar for most people, especially within the international community, which is a great shame. But that was all, and till next time, bye guys.